Hello, Joe.
Senor Brad.
What's happening, buddy?
Beautiful day out.
It
Got
is. It
out there
is.
for a bit. Just swamped. Lots of excitement. Actually, I haven't looked at any of the markets or anything since this morning. It was kind of looked like some of it was going to be tipping over, but now I'm not so sure. Have you? What's going on out there? Do you know? I mean,
I
in
have
crypto.
not a fucking clue. Let's load it up and see, Joe. I have
All
been
right.
buried all morning in phone calls and work. But let
Yep.
me doing
Okay.
some
It looks
material
like
indicator stuff this morning.
BTC's at like up to 22888. ETH is still above 1537. So that's all good. Um,
28.75. Yeah, it's hanging. It's hanging. Yeah.
and then because there was a Fed announcement this morning, notes of some kind, and it was just the usual, nothing
Somebody told me that
binding.
unemployment wasn't as hot as they wanted. I haven't seen that yet.
Yeah, there's a lot of, they're just trying to break the back of, the under 35s on Wall Street that have just been, making money off of basically, sugar crack money that was all free. And
Yeah.
they think it's always going to be that way. When you and I know, no, it's not. This has been an aberration the last, 14 years.
Yeah.
It goes back, the norm's 6%, and they're going to have to readjust their thinking, which they haven't, done yet. And so I think they just keeps pounding those guys. It's unfortunately, there's casualties in the workforce from that, but with all the job openings out there, I don't see how like 10,000 Microsoft people getting laid off aren't going to find work right away.
Yeah, yeah. Look,
It's just the people not going are the people that don't want to go.
the person I was talking to was like, "Well, how come all those layoffs aren't showing up in the numbers?" I said, "Because they all have severance packages that could be anywhere from 3 months to a few years. So, they're not collecting unemployment yet. And when they start collecting unemployment, it's a huge lag on that. And most of them will probably get a gig before that, right? They'll take a couple of months, fuck around, mow the yard,
Get bored.
with
Yeah.
something, and then travel, whatever. And then they're going to be like, okay, better get my shit together. Well, if severance runs out in 6 months for a majority of them, average, you're not going to see that number. You're not going to see those
Yeah.
those tech layoffs yet. So
Yeah, and they're not really the ones that have been out of the workforce. They'll instantly find jobs when they want to.
yeah.
I think it's more. I think the real issue there is the people who have stopped looking.
Yep. Hey,
So
Joe, I finally pulled the trigger on the Telegram room.
I saw that, man. I saw like 6 different channels or something. I thought it was awesome.
I'm debating whether the topics are going to work or not for us, but for now we'll try it, and then we'll mess with it afterwards. But yeah, I got some initial channels set up. I've got like separate discussion for DeFi lunch episodes, Mission DeFi episodes. I got a Bitcoin channel, and with a link in here to all of Sean's episodes on the website. So that's it. Hey, here, Eamon, here's the link.
Yeah.
I'm posting it in the comments. I'll put it on screen. T.me/mission DeFi will get you there. We also have links directly to each of the topics. So you can go directly to DeFi lunch. You can go whatever. There's a general topic, Bitcoin. Right now, I just set up a few feedback for me and Joe. If you have it in a show feedback section, Avalanche, need help for your project, want to discuss your ideas, want people to weigh in on your strategies and what you're launching. We've got a topic for that. I moved the top 10 coins over from Reddit. So I posted my top 10 in there, Joe. You can get yours in there, but I think we could do like in there different categories. Like, so we can do top 10 blue chip, top 10 high risk, speculative, whatever.
Long shot. Yeah, absolutely. That's awesome, dude.
Stable coins, and then I've got a must-see projects. We've got an Ethereum Phantom Avalanche section. We've got a must-see project. So that's where you can kind of shill projects you're interested in. But listen, if you're thinking about, putting a project in here, we expect, this is how we kind of built the material indicators community, and it's something that people actually want to be a part of. We expect you to back it up, right? You don't just get to post a link to a project and shill it because you've got some tokens. You've got to tell us why it's good, why it's strong, whether it's the team, the strategy, the infrastructure, whatever. So anyway, hope everyone will come in and join. We've already got a few people in there after one tweet. So that's cool. And we're going to keep building it. I've put notices on Reddit. I put notices on Discord to discuss over here. I just like this better, Joe. It's where you and I live, you know. And why don't we do it? We should do it where we live, right? Yeah,
because like I never get to Reddit. I never get to Discord. I was in Discord last night a little bit checking out Kazuna, and I'm like, I couldn't even remember my password to get in there, kind of thing. It took me a second, you know. Yeah. And I realized I was in a different browser, and so, you know, and then it's just all gobbledygook.
Yeah.
And it's not the kind of thing I see. I know a lot of people love the format, but it's just I like to kind of see that linear list level type thing like you get in Telegram.
Yep. Eamon says, nice. Shizzy says, feedback. Great job yesterday, guys, with X7. I had to go back and rewatch to understand because the bit Lotso stuff, but I learned a lot about it. Thanks, Shizzy. And James said, Telegram over Reddit for sure. And he joined. We got Eamon and Shizzy and James and EWK and Crypto Doc from X7 have all joined. So I hope everybody will get in there. Post your thoughts. This is not just about Brad and Joe's thoughts. This is about your ideas, your thoughts. We want it to be a true community. We don't want it to be, you know, Brad and Joe pontificating all day. Besides, neither of us has the time for that shit. So
yeah, we do that during the show. You know,
that's hard. We got our 45 minutes a day to talk shit.
Yeah.
So we
don't have to look, Brad, the way you built that material indicators chat from nothing to almost 10,000 users was impressive, and I've always loved the tone in there. You know, it's not toxicity. You know, people just get the hammer ban instantly.
Yeah, we're pretty liberal with the hammer.
Yeah, no, but you could appeal it, of course, I think, right? I mean,
you can reach out to us. Yeah.
Yeah, with a couple of people, but it's the kind of shit that we don't like where you start off with, hey, asshole, or you're stupid and this, you know, we just won't tolerate that crap. Yeah, so if you want to like something that's...
Yeah, we expect everyone to treat each other with respect. That's, you know, the bottom line. So,
amen. I love it, man. I love it.
That's funny. That's great. Yeah. Eamon said, hearing you pontificate is what we're here for. Yeah, I guess that is the theme of the show, but we love you guys pontificating too. So, All right. So that's that. Let me stop that. And then Arthur Hayes has a new piece out. I haven't had a chance to read it, so I'm not going to comment on it today, but essentially it's saying, well, he starts off, I can't tell if it's tongue or cheek or not, basically saying inflation is over with a chart. But I want to take the time to actually read it before I dive into it on the show. But you and I can maybe read it tonight. We have Sean tomorrow telling us everything that makes Bitcoin a piece of shit. No, I don't think was that the title?
Oh yeah, he's going inverse, right? He's going inverse.
No, he was going to talk about the things he thinks are weaknesses and or need to be fixed with Bitcoin.
I love that.
Yeah. So
the inside perspective, that's cool.
Yeah, man. He's gonna show his analytical capabilities. So, you know.
Yeah, no, he's a good guy. He's smart. He's nice too. That's what I like.
Yep, absolutely. Okay, what else? I got. I'm back in the Times, Joe. The old gray. Was it the old? What do they call it? What do they call it?
I think the old gray lady. Old gray lady. Or something like that?
Yeah. And it was a quote I gave like 2 weeks ago.
Nice.
It's on Sam basically manipulating and gaming the market. But my quote is relevant to Alameda. Where to go? Let me do this the easy way.
Control F. There we go.
Yeah, so I said for a startup to get money from Alameda meant everyone else would follow along, said Brad Nickel, who hosts. There's no due diligence or anything, Mr. Nickel said. If you took money from Alameda, you could get a lot of big name investors in it. That's it. Not overly exciting, but I'll take it.
But it's a great point though. Look, when you know, Alameda was a brand that was respected at that point as knowing what they were talking about. And you know, because of the tie-ins with, I think they and FTX and, you know, SoftBank and Sequoia and all these guys, everybody goes, well, Alameda knows what they're talking about, or SoftBank wouldn't have put money in.
Yep.
And so then when anybody gets any money from them, everybody goes, oh, these guys have found the next winner, and people start, you know, FOMOing in without doing due diligence. So that's what you need to resist in investing in these different companies. So that's an excellent point, dude.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. Appreciate that. Appreciate that. I think we need to start a DAO, Joe.
I saw that comment today. I can't remember which channel it was in. I saw you saying that, and
in our new Telegram.
Think about like the Constitution DAO thing. You know, it's like we have to figure out how to hide the amount we need to bid, but shit, why not?
Yeah.
I mean, raise up a couple $100 million. Well, you know, how much are we? Well, they don't have enough money yet to handle that size of a loan, but I was thinking we'll come up with $2 million and drop it into
X7. Issue the tokens.
We need 198 million, dude.
hey, X7 guys, if you're listening, man, we've got your first deal. We'll move CoinDesk into X7 for liquidity for the token.
Yeah, hell yeah. You guys just have to lever us up $198 million.
That's what the fuck? 200 million people have offered them 200. Does that tell you, back to the media DAO concepts, does that tell you what the fuck the market is saying? Because I guarantee you CoinDesk revenue is nowhere close. Like,
yeah,
I would bet that's like a 20 fucking X on that.
On revenue, not even on EBITDA. I can't see them doing more than 10 million in revs. I mean, I don't know. There's so many publications. No one has a corner on the advertising.
But what they're saying is where this will be, right? There's going to be a multi-billion-dollar market. If you believe that crypto will dominate finance in the future, then why not have one of the premier media publications properties in your tool bag, right? And so, and you know, all of the mainstream guys, the Bloombergs, et cetera, they just suck at this shit, right? They suck at crypto. They just don't have people with enough depth, you know? Well, that reporter from the New York Times, I've been basically trying to train him. You know what I mean? He got thrown in there. He comes from a finance and tech background, but he got thrown into crypto by the editor because the last crypto person left, and has zero clue. He's getting better. But, you know, it's like this opportunity is gigantic. The problem with the media models in crypto is every one of these guys ends up getting a job offer from a project. And the job offer looks like, well, you know, these tokens could be worth $10 million next year. And it's like, I'm probably making 50, 55 at fucking reporting. Okay. I'll take a year. I can always go back to being a fucking journalist.
Yeah, and I could probably still write, you know, on my own and do a Substack and do all those things while doing the other project. What does he say? Could you imagine?
Fox News bought it, put it as an hour-long segment on mainstream TV. Right. I mean, you know, look, here's the thing. Any big media company would be smart to snag this. I mean, really would. But this, for me, that price point validates the idea of a media DAO that dominates crypto. Because if you could take it into a true DAO where everyone's sharing resources, sharing revenue, working together, sharing traffic back and forth, you could have a massive, I mean, I'm talking billions of dollars, and I'm not just saying that to be, you know, as hyperbole.
Yeah.
I truly believe that, you know, there is an incredible opportunity within crypto to build a media giant. So,
wait, stop right there. Hold on. Scroll up for a second. I just want to see what firm they were talking about, right? Well, a little bit farther.
Lazard.
Lazard. Oh, okay. I used to know he's deceased, but the ex-chairman of Lazard.
Oh, wow.
So, you know, look, this is an easy one because it's how many people, the people who read CoinDesk are one of two things. It's either a crypto person or it's someone that wants to get into crypto.
Yep.
And so all of it. So if you're, you know, I remember this going on back in the .com days with the VCs. The VCs were hiring all these reporters off of, you know, science journals and science pubs because one, they find deals, but also they can do the due diligence on it too. And so all of a sudden, you know, you have something that you're a VC, you could basically be running a pipeline of deals and then triaging them with all the viewership, the communities around CoinDesk, and, you know, have something very, very powerful. So, you know, to me, I think the thesis of this article, though, is that he bought it for 500,000, is going to sell it for 200 million, right? Is it
right? And we don't know if those are legit numbers. He may just be throwing that fucking number out because that's what he needs to fill the hole. He may be lying.
Is that what they're saying, Gilbert?
What's that?
Well, and he's also doing like I saying I've just had a glitch here for a second. He's also saying, you float high numbers out there. So he's probably saying, oh yeah, we're getting offers for like up to 200 million, but maybe there's no offers. So then, because you don't want people coming in and going, I'll give you 4 million.
Right. Yeah.
He's trying to set, all right, well, screw that.
He's
an expectation bar. Exactly.
Yeah, he's trying to set the price point. This also brings up the idea that, there are a lot, well, back to the media DAO. There are a lot of small to medium-sized pubs, channels, everything else that if they could be acquired together or banded together, could equal the traffic that you're getting on a CoinDesk or whatever, but have such a bigger variety of coverage. So anyway, I still love that idea. I think it would make a ton of sense. Shizzy says, honestly, though, as a crypto guy, if I want news, I only go to Twitter. I avoid all those big sites, CoinDesk, Block, Decrypt, etc. I don't go to the sites for news, but I have custom feeds I've set up in Telegram that come from all of those sites. And a lot of the news that we share on this show, says Shizzy, is from those sites. There are good reporters at The Block. There are good reporters at Decrypt, and there are good reporters at some of these other publications. There are also some shitty ones. But if you take them across the board, you get a real good slice of everything that's going on in the space at higher scale. Now, in terms of finding projects, in terms of understanding trends before they hit these pubs, because they're always lagging, then Twitter is the spot. Absolutely. Yeah,
Absolutely. I find the same with me too, is that I only go to like CoinDesk if it's 2 minutes before the show and I'm scrambling for a couple of stories. Yeah. And I look at the headlines, but I do click through when I see them referenced in, different either Telegram channels they're putting it out, or on Twitter where someone is talking about it, and I'll go to that article, before I retweet it or do something. But it is a good repository of content. But it is easier to see crypto stuff on Twitter. Yes, obvious, very, very so.
Yep, absolutely. No, I agree. Okay, so Adam.
Wait, Cochran. Niblets. Did we get?
Oh.
We've missed a couple of Niblets comments here. So
I posted this. So Murdoch didn't. Okay. Yeah, go ahead. Murdoch didn't do so well with MySpace. Yeah, we didn't speak it though. You're right. Absolutely.
Yeah, no, but also, I can't even barely remember MySpace, to be honest, but that was one of the first kind of, it was like Friendster, MySpace, those guys.
Yeah, first Facebook social networks, one of the first ones.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
It was.
Facebook was anointed for that space, obviously.
It was more personal website and less social media at first, and then it transitioned. It was just a bunch of ugly, bad websites that people could put up with horrible backgrounds, and it was like actually every website was a really the really bad graphic design memes. That's what every website
right.
was on MySpace.
And that was also before all the dating apps. It was before LinkedIn. It was before all of those kind of ones that we see now. So it's kind of one of the first ones that just started posting up. I guess individual profiles. Yeah. Okay. That's kind of hard to translate to a Murdoch media model, though, unless you're thinking that you're going to be able to tap into subscribers for publications and have an exclusive on all of those listings. Which, probably learned a painful lesson at that point because it didn't work out that way.
Was that an exit ad? It was an exit ad. That was crazy. So we'll see how this goes. I don't know. I don't know how many tokens are in here. He's got 5, 9.
Wow, I didn't think anybody could outdo your 82 tweet mega thread.
22, 25. Looks like about 31 projects in here. So Adam Cochran did a 268 tweet thread. I actually like Adam a lot. He has good analysis insights. I've also seen him have some good insights on legal and regulatory in crypto. And I think he's a good guy. Euphoric said, if only Twitter appreciated my love for crypto as much as my love for boobs. That's pretty good, dude. That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's
clever.
Awesome. Anyway, he does a 168 tweet thread on a group of projects. And what caught my attention, I follow him with notifications on, but what caught my attention is one of them is CANTO. So I loved the analysis he had on that. And it's very much the same things that you and I've said all along. He says strong opinions, loosely held. Went back to his 2022 list and said he's doing well overall from that list. Basically, this is his list of shit that he's going to hold for at least the year, right? So he's in all of these projects. So let me get to the actual new list. So yeah, the 21.
God.
How many?
It's amazing.
Explaining shit.
It's amazing,
okay,
dude. Here's them going. Yeah. I mean, I have a hard time keeping track of 20 of them.
Yeah.
You know, this guy's doing like hundreds. It's crazy.
Ethereum. I don't think we really need to discuss it. Deflationary in use, dozen upcoming scaling solutions. It's lovely. I think staking ETH long term is like buying up internet infrastructure after the .com crash. And I love that analogy. I think that's actually pretty good, you know?
Because we know what happened after that. Google, Facebook, remember it was like they were all separate and then all those companies came together. All basically the FANG minus Microsoft. Yeah. Was all post.com. So
absolutely.
That was big time. I mean, what's that? Like 8 trillion in market cap or 5 trillion in market cap?
Oh yeah, exactly. Radiant Capital, I have heard of, but I've never taken a look up. He said it's one of the projects he's most excited about. Takes the existing money market model, build it cross-chain natively, and make it entirely community operated. So sounds like there's a significant amount of decentralization going on there. Launched first on Arbitrum, built on top of Layer 0, so it's got the cross-chain capabilities built into it. So basically your money, you can move shit around on different chains, but still retain what you have cross chains. Able to borrow deposit collateral on one network and borrow on another seamlessly. Stake your native tokens on Arbitrum, borrow on Polygon, whatever. So you could have them on Arbitrum. You don't have to move your money. You can borrow on Polygon and then jump into a yield farm or whatever you want to fucking get into. So it looks interesting. I want to take a look at it. I'll see if I can get the founders on. Stakers are getting good APYs right now, 39.75%. So that's good shit. Let's see what else we got. He thinks Radiant could do, it's currently only at a $2 million valuation and a 70 million FDV. That's being paid out to stakers. The dilution isn't really equivalent. And he said, considering Compound has a market cap of 365 million and Aave is 1.2 billion, there's a lot of room for growth in a protocol like this. Of course, those kinds of comparisons are only valid if the team can actually grow it as much as, Aave and Compound. So
is FDV another acronym for NPV or DCF? I mean, it sounds like it's saying future discounted value is what I think it means. But, NPV and DCF are, traditional terms. Is there something particular to crypto?
Fully diluted valuation.
Okay. Oh, so that's what all the tokens are out. Okay. Yeah, so it's not a cash flow valuation. Got it. Okay.
Right. Cool. He thinks there's a $5 billion opportunity for whichever team can capture a strong market share of cross-chain lending. And I would not discount that at all. Yearn, irrefutable leader of yield automation, of course, and vaults, and more importantly, has gone through a major transformation in terms of its competitive offering. Yeah, remember we talked about it last week. They now have it so you can launch your own vaults. You can, the fees are less, the whole bit. They own a huge chunk of CRV. They have 44 million locked CRV, making them one of the largest curve holders in the ecosystem. Massive voting power on the whole liquidity train, which kind of goes back to what we were talking about with X7 yesterday. Let's see. Under their previous model, I don't want to go into the weeds on this. I think it's an easy pick, Yearn. And
what's it at? Like a 6,000 right now or something?
I don't know, sir. I don't know.
Yeah, I remember when that was. What was it? Wasn't that over like 120 at one point? 120,000.
Yeah. So synthetics, like you said, one of the DeFi OGs has been around, has a substantial amount of usage. Basically, you can create synthetic liquidity backed by asset debt, so you can trade synthetics. Started out as a borrowing protocol, which is not something I knew, and Now it's much more than that, integrated with Curve, 1inch, and other major players. I've never taken a deep enough dive in synthetics. I've stuck kind of with the gains world for synthetic stuff, but maybe it's not even similar. I don't know. Atomic swaps and perpetuals. This still means a 70% plus APY for synthetic stakers in the current market conditions. So Shizzy says, CANTO keeps coming up, man. I keep seeing it more and more from different people. Yeah, I want to keep seeing it more and more from different people, especially when he starts talking about price up here. So we'll ape in, my friends. By the way, I do stake and stack CANTO, so I am biased. This is not financial advice. Do your own research. Let's see. Synthetics. I'm done with synthetics. Are you done with synthetics, Joe?
Yeah. What's this one? I don't know Conic.
Never heard of Conic Finance. Conic, he calls it, he says, Conic, the almighty cone. It may end up being one of the most important ecosystem projects you've never heard of. Conic is a key part of the Curve ecosystem, bringing omni-pool balancing. Oh, let me go back. Conic creates omni pools, which allow users to deposit their assets into Curve and spread them out across different pools to optimize the APY per dollar. But that's only a small part of the magic. In order for Curve to launch its Curve USD and take on diverse collateral, its pools would need to be able to easily soak up liquidations. That's not something you can do if a pool has light liquidity. That'd pose a huge manipulation risk. And that's where Conic comes in by creating a slush fund of capital that can move from pool to pool, seeking out the highest yield. It means if some sort of collateral on Curve USD is set to be liquidated, the Omni pool can redirect to that pool to soak up the rewards. That's actually pretty cool. It's almost a flip on what we were talking about the other day when we were talking about arbing the C bridge APY, hopping in and out of them, playing both sides of the bridge. This is really interesting. So I want to take a deeper look at this. I have not gone over to take a look at the site. Evidently, the site looks like a Macintosh desktop. So that's interesting.
Oh, that's hysterical.
Yeah.
That's I remember that. Gosh. It was so amazing after going from DOS world to like, oh, wow, we just click on a little thing and it opens.
Yeah, it's an old school Mac. Yeah, old school Mac interface. So, Conic is pre-launch, so it's risky, but I like the opportunity when I compare it to low market cap to other DeFi products that have captured CRV. We've got a lot of dependency on CRV in DeFi, so I guess anything that captures some of that is a good thing. Convex has 3.8 billion in TVL. Even in this down market, is bringing in 9.7 million per month in revenue, giving Convex a valuation of 370 million, roughly 3 times its annual revenue. If Convex is able to capture that TVL, there is a 10x growth opportunity, even in the bear market, and even if CRV doesn't grow in value. So that's a really interesting. I'm going to take a deeper dive into that. Maybe we can get them on the show, Joe.
Yeah, that would be awesome.
Convex,
I mean, honestly, I do a lot of Curve, but I just play Curve straight up. I haven't really played in all the other things around it.
Yeah.
Because I just look at the TVL and whenever I see it below $1, I buy.
Yeah.
And then, eventually it's going to be up.
Oh, did you freeze? Joe froze. It's probably some kind of attack on his building. Convex, I'm going to skip over Convex. I think we can all give, it's a given, especially based on those numbers that he was talking about earlier. Frax, we talk about Frax. You there, Joe? Oh, he froze again.
No, I just dumped my VPN. Sorry.
Okay. You were saying something, but I didn't get it. Oh, that you're buying less than $1.
Yeah, like I pick up Curve anytime it's below $1. Like I was buying a bunch of 50 cents or 52. I did trim this morning too, just to be fair, so everybody knows, but I didn't, trim at all. Because I just feel like, equities are tanking and we keep talking about that Binance situation. Sean always talking about 13.8, and I'm just sort of a little bit paranoid right now. So I did do a little trimming, but to me, you can't lose with Curve, It's the TVL is insanely high compared to the valuation. And so to me, and it's the anchor of all these other ones. Yeah. So, but I got to learn more about the stuff around it. Oh, good. Frax, one of our favorites.
Eamon says, haha, Convex was the thing I was talking about long ago. I do remember you bringing that up, buddy.
I do too.
You made a shit ton of money on it. Frax, can we really talk about Frax more, Joe?
I don't know. I love it. I mean, the one thing I did see a comment from one of our listeners, Mr. Muccioli, in Twitter, where he had said, "Well, how is it different from Luna?" And we didn't really give a full response, but I thought we could get. Yeah. So to me, I just kind of use it as an opportunity to invite Sam to come on this side of the house, via Twitter. I haven't heard anything.
Yep.
Or one of his people to come in and just address that issue. But I think sometimes if you say it that way, like, what's the difference? It's almost like you're calling it Luna. Or the implication is that it's a negative comment, when I didn't really take it as that way. I took it as more just, him wanting to know target acquired. What
the fuck
him wanting to know.
Go ahead.
I don't know, man.
Sorry.
No, I thought it was just him wanting to know the difference. Like, why is this algorithmic stablecoin different? And, there's plenty of reasons, but, I looked at it.
Frax is getting tough to place into any one category. It's becoming a monster of DeFi that attempts to consume all verticals in its path. I think that's a great image for it. Then he says buy on SideShift. So I click the link.
You in the US?
Fucking.
You got to hook your VPN up.
Yeah.
I'm in, where am I? I think I'm in Portugal right now. Wait.
No sign up crypto exchange, but they do block the US. Ship between it's sideshift.ai. Ship between Bitcoin,
check it right now.
BCH, XMR, XI, and 75 other cryptocurrencies. The best exchange rates, no account required. So why is Adam plugging SideShift, I wonder? That's interesting. I don't know. Okay.
Yeah, look, I got in. I'm in, running through Portugal, so you guys can get in if you do something like that.
Frax started off as an algorithmic stable coin, one of few in existence. Being a battle-tested algo stable is impressive in its own right, but Frax hasn't stopped. Instead, Frax is doing just about everything from their own swapping AMM to their own lending market. Frax has slowly expanded sector by sector into other DeFi markets. Yeah, absolutely. We've talked about this quite a bit. I don't think we need to spend too much over it. They hold a ton of Curve voting power. They're now doing staked ETH and paying higher rates than anybody else can because they're redirecting their rewards, even short term, to Frax ETH. Frax should be able to capture a large portion of the market share in liquid staking over time. I think they will. And I am moving, not financial advice, but moving the staking I am doing over. So, because I personally think they'll do well. Curve, don't think we need to go too far into it, do we, Joe?
No.
There's stable coins coming out sometime this month. That should be pretty interesting to see.
Wait, there's stable coins called Llama?
No. Oh.
What's his? What?
No. The system
sorry, that's a lead.
It's Curve USD, automatic liquidation method called Llama.
Got it. I thought they were snaking the DeFi Llama token name. That's what I was like. Oh, that's an interesting move. Yeah.
Balancer, been around for a long time, big player in the space. Everybody else, like he says, uses Balancer indirectly. And everybody at some point or another has been in a Balancer pool. Balancer's a kind of old school OG stuff.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
Do you have any of it right now?
Let's see. I do not.
Yeah, I don't either.
He says he views it as a B2B protocol to power other partners with unique liquidity offerings, and they've really leaned into that. Their front page now leads to a partner landing page rather than a trading one. Yeah, so they're going all in on recruiting partners to utilize the protocol, which seems to be working. So it's also clearly working for them. Almost 20 new partners. Balancer has been on a tear and growing in market share. For the first time ever, they are close to cracking the top 10 by TVL in DeFi. Where are they? 1.65 billion in TVL. They've retained a better hold of their TVL. People laugh when I suggest Balancer because they themselves never use it. But I said last year, I think Balancer wins. I love these B2B plays. I think this is a really smart analysis. That's fucking phenomenal.
Well,
Cosmos,
look,
Adam.
I was going to say, who comes in on that? Institutionals. So it's very smart.
Yeah, absolutely. Cosmos is a network of interconnected blockchains. We've talked about it a good amount. He must be working for SideShift because he keeps promoting it. I guess I don't know. Maybe it's his own project. I'm not sure. When it comes to other ones, I'm pretty skeptical. There's a high bar of novel that is needed to get me on board with the idea, and it can't simply be a better, quicker mousetrap. Cosmos does this through an easy modular SDK that allows anyone to build small custom blockchains. This means you can create a niche blockchain that is designed to be a dedicated AMM like Osmosis, or a bridge chain like Gravity Well, or hosting like Akash. All these blockchains have standard ways to communicate and interact natively. I personally think that the race for the monolithic blockchain that is going to act as the core settlement layer is over. Ethereum won that race. Interesting. The next races are who wins L2s, who wins niche app chains. A lot of competitors in the app chain space: AVAX, AVAX, Polygon, and BSC. Cosmos focuses on building simple tooling and standard ways to connect. Outside of Ethereum's ecosystem, we don't see a lot of innovation. We often see only incremental improvements. Cosmos, he sees great implementations and innovation. Keeper, the Keymaster. Keeper is important automation tooling that underpins a large portion of DeFi. I don't know in detail exactly what it functions as or does, but I do know it gets included in a lot of protocols. It was an Andre Cronje project, and he disappeared. They've had a tough year. And the challenge, blah, blah, blah.
He calls Andre a regulation maxi.
Yeah. Because remember Andre calling for regulatory?
Yeah, I think he was trying to stay out of trouble. Yeah, regulation maxi.
Keepers are to automation as Chainlink oracles are to pricing. So it allows for automating of smart contract calls. I like this analogy, a cron job for Solidity. So essentially, it allows you to make calls automatically from your smart contracts to make other things happen in smart contracts. Under what conditions a keeper should call another function and what reward there is for doing so, if any. So anyway, I like infrastructure plays. Keeper's an infrastructure play. Makes sense. And if they're down hard, I haven't ever looked at them before. Makes sense. Okay. How much time? Oh, shit. We're going to run out of time. Let me skip a few and let's get down.
What is that Agoric? I was just curious about that, the cube. Agoric?
We've looked at Agoric before. It's an L1,
okay.
Right? Yeah, a Cosmos-based chain that implements unique design patterns for security and accessibility. Unlike that rely on smart contracts, Agoric is built from the ground up so that users can interact with DeFi while keeping all assets in their own wallet. Instead of running Solidity, it's based on JavaScript, remember?
Now I remember. Okay.
Of hardened JavaScript with designs patterns specifically made for. It's interesting he's bringing it up. I'm kind of glad you called me back to this one. Pre-built library of components. Remember I said they had all those components that you could easily implement into your project. He's setting up a validator for them. Right now, staking yields are at 12% APY. That doesn't factor into upward price potential. Oh, that's interesting. I'm going to have to revisit Agoric. Market cap of 125 million, FTV of 476 million. Compare that to something like Near, which has almost no usage and sits just shy of a $2 billion market cap. Or Agoric has a lot of room to run. I really like that. Zcash, privacy, security. I think that's kind of a given play coming up. So I'm good with that.
Yeah.
I like that call. Man, I wonder how many days he spent writing this shit. What the
Good gosh, yeah. This isn't like just a bunch of missives. He's like, actually constructing. Was that Monero you just went by? All right. ALCX, baby.
Yep. He shows in the comments, I read through it, he says, he has concerns about whether they can recover and gain more share, but they're the most unique thing on chain and that they have incredible, tremendous potential. And that their biggest issue is just getting more aggressive with capturing more APY. I agree with all of that assessment. I think he's absolutely right. I think that there's a lot more opportunity for Alchemix in the long run. So
weren't we just chatting? Were you and I chatting about them yesterday? Kind of not on the show.
Yeah, we were talking about them in conjunction with another project.
Yeah, that there was ways. Look, if they could figure out how to capture more yield, then they could shorten that payback window, which right now, because prices are down, is out long. But
whenever I chat with Scoopy, I always talk to him about, look, dude, the new version, it has composability built in. They are not yet completely permissionless with their composability, but that's a coming phase for that. But that unleashes all kinds of potential. If you go and aggressively do the biz dev, right? You can't just release composability and hope everybody connects. You got to go paint the picture for the other projects and say, imagine if you could do X, right? And in the context of what their protocol already does. So biz dev in DeFi requires you to understand the technical issues, but also understand the motivational and financial issues so that when you go to pitch integration to someone and they have to do the work, or you're offering to do the work, or you've made it easy or whatever, in order to get them to do that, you've got to give them how and why, right? You got to give them the model, the use case, and the potential upside for the project. So I'm hoping that we'll see more of that. There's a lot of smart people on the ALCX community, a lot of people doing great work over there. So I have no doubt they will, but it's important. CANTO, the public square, glad to see it. Love him picking it. He gives a general description of what it is. I don't think anybody on this show needs to have too much of that, but if you do, come to Telegram, we'll tell you more. Takes no fees. He talks about the free public infrastructure, talks about Note being kind of the stable coin of the layer one. And then he starts talking about the revenue share for developers that deploy without charging fees. If you deploy without charging fees, you will get a share of the gas revenue, and you'll get an FT that represents that share of the gas revenue, which means you can borrow against that to launch other products, to hire devs, to hire marketing, whatever. And he likes it. He thinks that's a good idea. He says CANTO has more TVL than many other large chains, far ahead of Near, Cardano, Gnosis, and Aptos, all of which are multi-billion dollar market caps. Yeah. I mean, that's pretty fucking impressive for something that's only a few months old.
Cardano's up to like $4 in TVL, right?
Probably. Could be. I mean, and this is a great comparison. It's something I never talk about. CANTO market cap is at 47 million, yet it has higher TVL than Project at 1.5 billion market cap. That's fucking ludicrous.
Well, the near stuff
says,
is up just because of the VCs,
Even if it had the market cap of its closest competitor, Near, at 1.8 billion, you're looking at a 40x.
To get to that
Cardano,
cap, yeah.
At Cardano price levels, it's a 261x. That's a really, thoughtful reason for being in CANTO. Keeping users engaged is difficult. CANTO will need to heavily rely on its gas rewards program to keep this momentum. You'll lose out on different AMMs competing heavily for market share, for example, due to a native one being built in. Uniswap versus SushiSwap did more for yield farming than having no fees would have. I still think that other types of DEXs within the system that charge fees that aren't necessarily just using the engine will actually do well as well. Forte's in there, etc. If it can carve out some novel use cases that are tough to monetize elsewhere, it could be a real win. Consider NFT projects with no royalties or royalty-free MMs like SudoSwap. So anyway, I'm really glad to see it. He points out that staking is currently paying 21% APY, which I'm currently doing. And he also pointed this out. I actually stake Note CANTO, which pays like 230 something percent right now. But you've got a token Note that maintains around $1 in value with USDT and USDC at 11 to 12% APY. Kind of hard to beat in the market, and it's easy. And that's a good point. I never talk about the stable pairs there, but they are there, integrated with Slingshot, etc. API 3 DAO. I've met with the guy.
Can I say one more thing about CANTO real quick? The thing is, like you said, in that liquidity pool you're in, but that was the way at Doki Doki that everybody just cleaned up. Was the early liquidity pools were, and I think CANTO's early ones were like 1,200 or something like that, but I think the Doki ones were like 6 something. If you put it in there and forgot about it for a year, basically, it just turned into monster amounts of cash. So when I look at that liquidity pool, impermanent loss, all of that, blah, 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 I'm thinking it's one, I'm not in it right now, I just have the token, but I think it's one that you would be comfortable putting in and just forgetting about it, because that's where you're going to get all the rewards, and that's where you're going to get the most earnings. And that's also where, when anything else happens, you're kind of in the core of the platform versus getting that, like you said, to 12%.
Yeah. Now, if you are staking, you want to make sure that we should just start our own CANTO validator
liquidity pool.
Where we set up validator nodes, and everybody in the community can come into our validator node. Then we can make a little money. Because you take 5% of the rewards when you're at node. I mean, you could set it higher, but
Yeah,
that's the standard.
I'm not good at setting those up, but you are.
Yeah, no, well, it's not an easy thing, but we could do it. Niblets could help us.
When you taught me how to do it with what were we doing? It was GraviX or something like that way back when, and in Vulture.
That was master nodes. Yeah, that was master nodes. A similar process for setting it up and managing it. Yeah. Niblets does ask, CANTO, stake versus LP versus auto compounding at Y2R. Niblets, I will tell you this. I was auto compounding the note CANTO pair, and it was doing very well. I didn't have to think about it, just maximizing the APY. I tried to find out more about the team at Y2R. I tried reaching out to them, and I got nervous. And so I stopped. I pulled it all, and I'm only manually compounding now in Note CANTO on the core infrastructure, public infrastructure at CANTO. I would love to have it auto compound, but it made me nervous. My gut instinct said, let's just get out for now and manually compound. And besides, manually compounding is kind of fun. The other thing that I have been doing is I'm compounding usually average once a day in the evening. And what I'm doing is every couple of days I'll hit a good enough number from the staking, from the validator staking, that I'll get a chunk of CANTO, and then I'll take everything I've compounded in the lending pool, and every other time I take half of the rewards and put them every other time I dedicate the rewards to either the staking or the liquidity pool. And I'm doing that because I feel like I want to stack up more into the CANTO staking, validator staking, even though it's 10% of the APR of the liquidity pool, LP. But there's impermanent loss that plays into that one. And I like the 21-day lock on CANTO staking. So I'm never tempted to just dump it, right? I just want to keep stacking. My goal is to keep stacking. So basically I'm dividing half and half the rewards between both. I'm manually compounding into the LP and lending, and I'm manually staking into the validator nodes. So
the LP is note in CANTO, right?
Well, that's the one I'm in. That's
okay.
The one I'm in.
And that's paying 250%?
It was 230 yesterday. There was a community vote to decrease. Hold on, let me take a look. There was a community vote to decrease the inflation. Let me see where we are today.
Well, what I'm saying, because you said
180, it's 187% today.
Yeah. Okay. So, but Node is basically a dollar coin, basically, like it functions sort of as a stable.
It's not strictly pegged to the dollar, but that's the goal, is to keep it around there.
So it's almost
Go ahead.
No, I was going to say it's almost similar, like pairing CANTO with a stable. Just like, I mean, obviously USDC is a different thing, but you're kind of, we talked about that fourth impermanent loss where it's two tokens, doing their own thing. Obviously, that's the permanent loss risk. But if it's paired with a stable, not so much. So in the end, you're kind of getting a stable pairing, but still getting 239% or 187% interest. So correct. Versus, say, doing Note with USDC. So that sounds like a pretty smart play. Yeah.
Yeah, and if you're compounding it frequently. Yeah. And then on the staking side, it's right now it's at 21.09% APR, right? And you stack it up. There's a 21-day lock for exit, right? So if you want to pull all your money out, there's a 21-day lock. There's multiple validator nodes out there you can utilize. I spread it across 3 validator nodes just in case someone gets slashed or has a technical problem or something. And I feel really comfortable with this setup. Now, all of CANTO could fail and, something horrific could happen and it's all worth nothing. A big chunk of what I have is the money I got from the airdrop from doing the testnet testing with them. So I don't feel too bad. I have put some of my own money in, so anyway, Niblets, to answer your question, that's what I'm doing right now. One liquidity pool and lend pool, staking, and I'm just splitting the rewards between each every other day, basically.
Cool.
That's my story. I'm sticking with it.
That's a good play,
I'm
man.
not going to go
Smart.
through the rest of the list. I'm going to hold off at API 3 DAO. If we need to fill in anything tomorrow, we can go through some more of these. But he's, Adam Cochran. If you don't follow him, it's Adam S. Cochran, at Adam S. Cochran, Adam S. Cochran. He's a really good analyst, provides a really good alpha, and I like the way he thinks. So Niblet says cheers.
Yeah.
All right, boys and girls, it's been fun. The man,
Another
Sean,
good day.
tomorrow.
Yeah, no.
Sean?
What was it? Did you tweet out that thing on Beans? How they raised the bounty reward to 40%? Was that you or somebody else on Beanstalk?
No, I tweeted it out. My buddy Sink, the guy that got that pushed through the Hats Finance recovery effort.
Yeah.
They've raised the bounty. They're reaching out to the people. They're working on some other methods for acquiring the funds back. So that's in progress. I was just glad to see that passed community vote.
Yeah, me too. I thought, because I know a lot of people are in Beans around here, so I thought that was pretty cool that they were just pursuing it all out.
Yeah.
I know we wouldn't get to that tomorrow with Sean, so I wanted to throw that in real quick. But anyhow.
Yeah, absolutely. Sean's going to shred Bitcoin tomorrow, so be here for that.
Woo!
Yee! Earth will stop spinning on its axis. Pigs will be flying. Niblet says, no, talk to Beanstalk about biz dev, please. I can tell you that I definitely have had that conversation, but because they are trying so hard to be hands-off and decentralized, because they're kind of probably feeling the pressure of regulatory or legal action. Now, talk to Beanstalk about biz dev, please. Sorry. That was such an emphatic no. I thought you meant no. Max Life, hey buddy, how you been? Happy Thursday. Now, not no. Nice to see you, Max. Yes, I would love to help them with that. And Eamon and Sync can tell you that sometimes DAOs are difficult. DAOs are difficult. Let's just leave it at that for today. And we'll just say that, yes, I would love to see more biz dev happening there. Currently, the people who are... let's just leave
doing it. Well, decentralized governance, it's, that's what it is. It's inefficient, just like democracy. And that's why you like it, because then, all the negatives of concentrated leadership or governance or authoritarianism can't happen. So I think that kind of mob mentality is going to sort of go away, similar to kind of how the X7 guys talked about it yesterday with those 6 or 7, I think they have, of those the developers have, that as it transitions to the full decentralized mob, that can keep those problems from happening in that transition. So it's,
totally
it's just going to evolve over time. So I get your point.
Yep, absolutely.
All
righty, Niblets, Max Life, Eamon, Shizzy, Forik, James. Appreciate all of you joining us today. Love you and appreciate you. Love and appreciate all of you that are listening and watching. Please join the Telegram channel, t.me/mission DeFi. I'm not even going to ask you to rate and review us today. That's all I want you to do. Well, smash the thumbs up on YouTube. Just do that. Joe cries if
I'm doing it.
If he doesn't get
I'm
to
doing it for Shizzy. I'm doing it for Shizzy.
Shizzy smashing it. He's smashing it, Shizzy. Otherwise, please just join our Telegram. We'd love to have you there. All of you are brilliant, and we need your insights. And, if we didn't have your thoughts to rehash, what would Joe and I do every day? So thank you very much. I hope everyone has a lovely afternoon. Joe, I hope you have a great afternoon, and we'll talk soon. You want to say anything before we say goodbye?
I just want to say it was funny after yesterday when I really appreciated how you guys kind of sat in the background listening to everybody else. And it was just refreshing to see all you guys in today, back to the regular format. So it's always nice, and definitely appreciate all you guys. And just lots of great projects out there, super smart people. And, I look forward to all of your success. Thanks.
Adios.